The air crackled with a fury I had never imagined. Not here. Not on my own land. "Your key-o, honey," Karen drawled, her voice a condescending melody that grated against my eardrums. "That key is obsolete. We voted unanimously to install new electronic gates. You can't just waltz in anymore." My gut twisted into a cold, hard knot. I stood there, utterly paralyzed, the setting sun casting long, mocking shadows across the dust that was my home. I had been gone for a week, visiting family after a long, grueling harvest. 1 week. And in that time, my life had been hijacked. The new Getty, a monstrous, wrought-iron behemoth, loomed before me, an impenetrable fortress on my own property. I tried my old key, the one passed down from my grandfather, but it wouldn't even slide into the lock. My heart pounded, a frantic drum solo against my ribs. "Karen, what is this?" I wasn't notified. "You can't just change the locks on my ranch." "We sent a notice," she said, her perfect smile a razor's edge. "Certified mail. Return receipt requested." "We have the receipt right here." She held up a slip of paper, waving it like a victory flag. My breath hitched. That notice, it was the one my neighbor, old Mr. Hemlock, had signed for me while I was away. A sudden, sickening realization dawned on me. This wasn't just a power trip, this was a meticulously planned coup. "And besides," she continued, her voice dripping with venom, "you're a month late on your assessment fees. The new rules state that for delinquent payments, we can revoke all access privileges." A sharp, disbelieving laugh escaped my lips. This was a nightmare. This was a hostile takeover. I just stared at her, my mind a swirling vortex of disbelief and rage. "Late? The payment was due last Friday. That's barely a day late." Karen's smile widened, a truly terrifying sight. "It's the new bylaw, a zero-tolerance policy. It's for the good of the community, you see, to ensure everyone pulls their weight." A chorus of murmurs from the 2 other HOA board members behind Hergery, the accountant, and Susan, the self-proclaimed community beautification chair, confirmed her words. It felt like I was standing in the middle of a gladiator arena, outnumbered and outmatched. Was this even legal? I took a deep breath, trying to steady the earthquake rumbling inside me. "Okay, fine, whatever. Just let me in so I can get the checkbook and pay you." The silence that followed was deafening, broken only by the chirping of crickets that were starting their nightly serenade. Karen's smile vanished. "That's not how this works. You'll have to pay at the HOA office during business hours next Monday. Until then, the gate remains closed." Her words hit me like a physical blow. Locked out. My ranch, my livelihood, all my animals and equipment, trapped behind her gate. My mind raced, but all I felt was the hollow thud of utter defeat. A deep, heavy sigh escaped me, a long, weary sound that carried the weight of generations. This wasn't just about a key or a fee, it was about her, and her insatiable need for control. The next few hours were a blur of frantic phone calls and a simmering, quiet fury. I sat in my pickup, the AC blasting, trying to think straight. Every instinct told me to break down that gate, to use the tractor to smash it to pieces. But I knew that was exactly what they wanted. A moment of uncontrolled anger, a reason to call the police and have me arrested for destruction of property, a reason to justify their actions. But then a thought, a brilliant spark, flickered in the back of my mind. A plan, a legal trap. It was risky, yes, but it was my only shot. I called my lawyer, a patient and brilliant woman named Elena. She listened intently, her occasional aha and I see the only sounds on the other end. When I finished, she was silent for a long moment. Then, a slow, low chuckle. "Brilliant," she said. "It's a bold move, but it just might work. It exploits their arrogance and their new, technically illegal bylaw. Now, here's what you do." Her instructions were a masterpiece of legal strategy, a beautiful chess move against their clumsy, bullying tactics. The plan hinged on one thing, getting them to admit to their wrongdoing, on my property, in front of a witness of authority, the sheriff. The moment the patrol car's lights flashed in the distance, a collective gasp went up from the HOA board. Karen's smugness faltered for the first time. The sheriff, a man named Deputy Miller, stepped out of his car, his expression stern and impassive. "Afternoon, folks," he said, his voice a low rumble. "I got a call about a dispute over property access." The air crackled with a new tension. A different kind of electricity. This was it. The moment of truth. I stepped forward, my voice surprisingly steady. "Deputy, this is my ranch. I've owned it for 30 years. These people. The HOA have locked me out because of a fee that was due yesterday. They won't let me retrieve my property." Karen immediately cut in, her voice shrill with indignation. "He's a month late. Deputy, it's right here in the new bylaw. Article 7, Section 4. He's in violation." She thrust the printed document into the air. My heart pounded. This was the moment. The trap was set. Deputy Miller calmly took the document, scanning it with a professional eye. "And this bylaw was it voted on and passed by the full membership?" he asked. Jerry, the accountant, puffed out his chest. "Yes, Deputy, unanimously. And we have the signatures to prove it." I watched them, a smirk almost forming on my face. They were so confident, so utterly convinced of their victory. They had no idea they were walking right into the snare. And this zero-tolerance policy, the deputy continued, was that also voted on? It's a part of the new bylaw. Karen practically shrieked. "Look, it's right there in black and white." Deputy Miller looked from the bylaw to Karen, and then to me. He sighed, a tired, heavy sound. "Ma'am," he said, his voice now colder, more authoritative, "I'm going to have to ask you and the rest of the board to step back from this gate. You are currently trespassing on private property." The color drained from Karen's face. "Trespassing? We are the HOA. We are enforcing the rules." Deputy Miller shook his head. "Article 7, Section 4, as you've stated, is in direct conflict with state law regarding property rights. A bylaw cannot supersede a legal deed. Furthermore," he paused, and his eyes narrowed, "you and Mr. Hemlock, your neighbor, share a legal partnership in the form of a common easement. Mr. Hemlock signed for the notice, but as a legal partner on the easement, he is also legally entitled to access to the property. By blocking him, you have not only violated state law, but you've also knowingly interfered with an established legal agreement. That's a criminal offense." A collective, stunned silence fell over them. Jerry stammered something about a mistake, and Susan's eyes darted nervously between Karen and the deputy. Karen, however, was in full meltdown mode. "You can't do this. This is a total abuse of power. My husband is a city councilman. I'll have your badge. You hear me? Your badge." She was turning red, her face a mask of pure, unadulterated fury. Deputy Miller didn't even flinch. "Threatening an officer, ma'am, that's another charge." Then came the twist. From the shadows of the ranch, a figure emerged. It was Mr. Hemlock, walking slowly, his cane tapping the ground with a rhythmic click. The board members' eyes widened in shock. What are you doing here?" Jerry sputtered. "Just came to see how the new gate was working," Mr. Hemlock said, a sly grin on his face. He walked right up to the gate, and with a swift motion, he pulled out a small, electronic key fob. He pressed the button, and with a low hum, the monstrous wrought iron gate swung open. Karen gasped. That's impossible. The old keys are obsolete. Only we have the new fobs." "Ah, but you see," Mr. Hemlock said, his voice soft but firm, "you were so focused on changing the locks on the main entrance, you forgot to check the small print. My easement agreement includes a separate, dedicated remote access for me and anyone I authorize. My family's been using it for years, since before you all even bought your properties." Karen's face was a study in horror. She had meticulously planned to lock me out, but in her greed for control, she had completely overlooked the legal loophole. She had locked herself into a trap. "Officer," I said, a wave of relief washing over me, "I'd like to press charges for unlawful trespass and unlawful interference with property access. They knowingly and maliciously locked me out of my home. My animals were without food and water for a full day." Deputy Miller nodded grimly, already pulling out his handcuffs. "Karen, Jerry, Susan, you're all under arrest for criminal trespass and felony property interference. You have the right to remain silent." He was a true professional, his words clinical and detached as he read them their rights. The handcuffs clicked into place, a sound like a final, definitive period at the end of a long, terrible sentence. Watching Karen's face contort from rage to pure, unmitigated despair was a sight I would never forget. Her empire of control had come crashing down in a single, beautiful moment of legal finesse. It wasn't about brute force, it was about outsmarting the bully. It was about knowing your rights and standing your ground, even when it feels like the whole world is against you. It was a victory not just for me, but for anyone who has ever had to face a Karen. The sun finally set, bathing the newly opened gate in a soft, golden light. I drove my pickup through, the tires crunching on the gravel, a smile slowly spreading across my face. I was home. The animals were safe, and a profound sense of peace settled over me. There's a powerful lesson here, I think. Sometimes the most effective resistance isn't a loud confrontation, but a quiet, clever trap. It's not about what you say, but about the law you know. What do you all think? Was this a victory of justice, or just a new kind of power play? Let's talk about where the line is between right and wrong.